Mac, we sat there all season, even preseason.
Yeah.
Talking about the credentials of this team, talking about how real they are. Well,
How
you
about
better
now?
believe the AFC is on notice. Pittsburgh, surely here to stay. Let's take you right out to the site where Charles Davis is standing by following the call of this one, CD. As a couple of guys who love watching this game, this is one of those matchups that inspires something in you. What did this game make you feel?
Made me feel like a kid watching a well-pitched baseball game that's tight, 2-1, 3-2, knowing that every pitch, every play could decide, could break something out open in this ball game. To see errors down the stretch that don't cost someone. I mean, Russell Wilson, down the stretch, all they need is a field goal to go up 8, and they have it in their hip pocket. And the one play you cannot make is to throw an interception and turn it over. And he throws the ball for kind of an alley-oop to Darnell Washington, his second tight end, who's essentially a third offensive tackle. And he doesn't even make a play on the ball. But you've got to know your personnel and people in that situation. Throw it out of the back of the end zone or even take the sack and kick the field goal. They got away with that because the defense came up with a big play. Peyton Wilson, the rookie out of NC State, who was on the field on passing downs. When Justice Hill was on the field for Baltimore, he matched him. Hill actually beat him on the route, and Wilson won the whole battle, taking the ball away from him after the catch. So when you're asking me what I was feeling, I was that kid at one of those big league stadiums watching two really good pitchers go at it. And then was there an error? Was there a play down the stretch to decide it? Not really, even though I just mentioned those. What decided it was just the toughness and the grit of both teams. One team made less errors in terms of penalties, and that was Pittsburgh.
So we could say that the former baseball player in Russell Wilson gets away with a bases-loading, hanging, breaking ball in this game
He got away with that one.
To walk away with this one. CD, I got B-Mac buzzing in my ear right now. He said to say hello. I want to pass along the good graces here of Bryant McFadden, who's floating off of this Pittsburgh Steelers win. He is, and we love having B-Mac here. We're going to get his thoughts in just a moment on another big-time Pittsburgh win. How does Pittsburgh always, in this meeting, the few times that they have seen Lamar Jackson, reduce him to mortal? I mean, this is a superhuman that only looks this way against certain teams, and Pittsburgh is one of them.
You have to have the right people in order to do it, because I don't think the plan is any different for anyone. But how many teams have that interior push, which is Cameron Hayward, number 97, and how many teams have that edge, which is number 90, T.J. Watt, and usually Alex Highsmith, but today it was Nick Herbig, where they can push in the middle, pinch him in on the sides, and try and keep him in the pocket and make him make plays there. Plus, I mentioned it a little bit during the game. Remember the old Jordan rules in basketball about how the Pistons tried to defend him? If he gets the ball here, you do this, you get the ball there. The Jordan rules for Pittsburgh are pretty simple. You want to keep him in the pocket, and then if he does escape, you want to push him left. Left is usually a scramble. Right is either a scramble and run big play or a throw downfield. You take your chances on just the scramble where he doesn't find someone leaking downfield. So they've executed their plan quite well over time. And remember, Lamar Jackson's not running the way he used to. I think that's by design. Because when he takes off and goes, he still wrecks defenses.
Both of these teams primed to be big-time players in this AFC playoff picture. But I think all of what you just said there comes down to a game plan and an execution. The game plan is obviously credit to the head coach and this staff. We ask the question every season, and I think it oftentimes begs a different answer. What does Mike Tomlin do to maximize the talent on this team each and every season?
He understands what he has. He understands what motivates people. There's different things for different guys. A quick example, Patrick Queen's going to play. All of us mortals are saying, hey, coach, how you imagine Patrick Queen's emotion since he's going to get back at his team, especially with the comments this week that he said Baltimore didn't want me back. And he said, manage them. I'm stoking them. Are you kidding me? I want him going after him. He said, I'd rather rein him in later. I don't have to worry about saying, go get him, right? Sick him is fine. That was a different answer than you might think. You're like, hey, you want to make sure he's okay and he's neutral. And no, stoke the emotions. That's one individual player. But Mike Tomlin knows how to do that with all 53 that are going to dress on Sunday. And Terrell Austin, their defense coordinator, said it really well 2 weeks ago. we don't get nervous when the game is tight, especially on defense. We're used to those crunchy situations down late where we just feel like we're going to make the play to win it. They did it again today on the two-point conversion try by Baltimore. So this Pittsburgh team is very comfortable in tight, difficult situations, and they came away with another victory. A lot of field goals. I'll tell you one thing. They better keep Chris Boswell in bubble wrap, their kicker. Whatever you do, all week long, you take care of Boz. Because Boz, he's at a historic rate right now. 3 more 50-plus yard field goals. He scored all the points today for Pittsburgh.
Relative to the kicking across the league, it amplifies how great he's been. But I think you were watching that game with B-Mac, because Mac was saying during it, Pittsburgh always wants guys that you got to say cool off and not sick them. It was another physical matchup between these two. Yeah. A great one calling another great one. Charles Davis, we appreciate you, pal.
Thank you. You take care, Joe.
And don't forget, each and every Sunday starts with our team. It's the NFL Today on CBS and streaming on Paramount+. JB and the gang, this week, live from Buffalo for the game of the week between the Bills and the Chiefs. Back in studio alongside the two-time champ in black and yellow, feeling himself right now following a big-time Pittsburgh Steelers victory over a rival in the Baltimore Ravens. Not just a rival, but a team at the top of the division. No longer a team that could be at the top of the conference. No longer. How do you feel following this victory?
Feel good, because in years past, this would be the type of game Pittsburgh would lose. I'm not saying against the Baltimore Ravens, but just the style of play, especially to Charles's point, that interception in the red zone. Those are the type of moments where in years past, it's like, oh, they can't find a way to make the extra play to be able to be in a position to win. But this year's Pittsburgh Steelers team, they know how to win. Yeah. And even when things are not at their best, when situational moments goes in favor of the other team, the defense steps up and says, we got you. We're not losing this ball game. We're going to make a play. And guess what happened? Peyton Wilson, the rookie from NC State, outstanding athletic linebacker, made a play. Marlon Humphrey created one, interception in the red zone. Peyton Wilson did not give up on the ball. He made a play. This was a team that made this game personal. The game was personal already when it's Ravens versus Steelers. But when Mike Tomlin sent Patrick Queen out as a captain, he wanted to send a message. We do not like you. Pat Queen does not like you, and we're going to display that mindset for 4 quarters. And the thing that I love about the Pittsburgh Steelers, they never allow Lamar Jackson to get going. Lamar Jackson struggled in the first half, but usually in the second half, with the adjustments from their coaches, Lamar Jackson cranks up. No. They made sure they played suffocating defense on Lamar Jackson. Derrick Henry, yes, he did have a rushing touchdown. Outside of that, he wasn't at his best. This is what you look for in the AFC North when these two teams face off. I know the line, the total was set in the high 40s. No, this is AFC North football. Field goals are like touchdowns when these two teams face off. And for us, we had the best kicker in the game that was able to capitalize on those field goals. And I mentioned, when you kick a field goal in these type ball games, it's like you're scoring 7 points.
The Pittsburgh Steelers now 5 consecutive wins for the first time since the 2020 season when they started 11-0, Mac. And one of those wins was Justin Fields, now 4-0 with Russell Wilson as the starting quarterback. I want to talk a little bit about Justin Fields. The trust to put the ball in his hands. You were calling for him in some of those two-way go situations when you need a first down. I love the idea of it, but to call on a quarterback that hasn't played all day and trust him with that ball in his hands, that's a credit to this team, and that's a credit to Justin Fields.
And that's a credit to Arthur Smith. Because the thing about this game, when you're playing against the Baltimore Ravens and when your offense becomes a bit stagnant in the red zone, you have to find something to mix it up a little bit, add an extra spice in the pot. And me and Joe, we're watching this game. I'm like, yo, this is the time you bring in Justin Fields. No knock on Russell Wilson. But the thing about Justin Fields, when you play against the type of defense they were facing off against in the red zone in the Baltimore Ravens, you need to add another +1 for them to account for, which in most cases you can't, because a +1 is a guy who runs the football who's not supposed to be running the football in Justin Fields. And to your point, Joe, when you needed to find a way to seal the ball game, in comes number 2. And instantly I already knew what was going to happen. He was going to keep the football, and they could not account for him. He slid a bit he slid too soon, but that led them to be in a favorable third down situation, 3rd and 1, which they converted, which sealed the deal. But I can tell you this much, moving forward for Arthur Smith, anytime there's a bit, the offense is a bit stagnant in the red zone, bring in Justin Fields, because he can give you the same type of impact that a Taysom Hill can give the New Orleans Saints. And if you didn't watch that ball game today, his red zone efficiency was at an all-time high. Because being a +1, we can't account for those type players in the red zone, especially when your starting quarterback is not a +1. Now we have to change up how we're playing the game, the flow of the game, all in the blink of an eye.
Maybe we see more of that moving forward, as they will only play more important football games from here. It was a small role for Justin Fields, but a big decision and big trust behind that. Or, excuse me, against the Ravens.
Ravens.
Big trust.
Big trust. Yeah, stadium.